A global organization has a local interest in protecting the forest and surrounding natural areas in the Keweenaw Peninsula. The Nature Conservancy provided a public update on the Keweenaw Heartlands project yesterday. The area covers more than 32,000 acres and was purchased by TNC for more than $39 million in 2022. The idea was to buy the land before it could be split up, restricting public access to the area.
For that to work, in order for us to ensure that as the land transitions into local ownership and a locally, run governance structure, and that those individuals and the community can operate and maintain this forest, we know that we need to have funds set aside to get that started. And so we are looking at, how could we build an endowment within the community, and the Nature Conservancy would certainly be helpful in that. And so that's another area that we hope that people step up and give to that endowment so that this can get off on the right foot from the very start, and that we ensure that the Nature Conservancy is responsibly transitioning this project to the local community.
Public engagement so far has helped TNC understand what is important to the community, along with the blueprint overview. TNC is working to document the important culture and ecological sites in the forest.
So that's a catalog of what's out there on the Heartlands in terms of cultural and historical artifacts, in terms of infrastructure such as roads and culverts, bridges, etc., in terms of the natural components, plants, wetlands, and in terms of the timber and carbon potential.
The end goals for TNC is to transition the land back to public knowledge. They are working with folks from the Keweenaw and the state to put systems in place to maintain and protect the land. Go to upmatters.com to learn more about the timeline for this project. Marquette Trails Fest kicked off today with its first events of the weekend at Marquette Mountain. The three-day festival brings people from all over the Midwest and the country who participate in mountain bike races, trail running races, and other events. All proceeds from Marquette Trails Fest goes to the Nokamanon Trail Network. The nonprofit organization develops and maintains over 80 miles of single-track trail throughout the central UP.
So tonight we start off with a dual slalom, which is a head-to-head race, racing on an identical track right next to people. Really great spectator event. We do a youth run tonight and then a 5K trail run, and then we kind of roll into a whole bunch of other stuff throughout the weekend. But again, it's just a big trail celebration where we're trying to get as many people out here as we can to raise money for the single track and, for everything that we're out here utilizing this weekend.
Marquette Trails Fest runs through this Sunday, June 25th. The entire South Trail system will be used for the weekend. For a full list of scheduled events and trail closures, you can visit nokitrails.org/Marquette Trails Fest. In this edition of Restaurant of the Week, Local 3's Tor Thorne joins us to tell us about what's next for Fob's Restaurant in Crystal Falls after nearly half a century of doing business.
After 45 years of business, Fob's Restaurant in Crystal Falls came to an end on June 15th. Their classic diner-style cooking helped make them a community favorite in Iron County, drawing locals and visitors from around the Midwest for their breakfast, roasted chicken, and specialty homemade pie. Fob's was founded back in 1978 by owner Chet Fabry and his wife Faye, who operated it until the 90s when they passed the reins to their daughter and son-in-law. The most recent owner, Nancy Bono, took over 7 years ago after working at Fob's since the 1980s, and on their final day last week, the community made sure to show out to give the staff a proper send-off. However, if you didn't make it in before the end of Fob's run, not all is lost. The restaurant is continuing operation with new ownership under the name New Leaf Bistro. The new place will hold on to many of Fob's dishes and employees, with some new twists as well from new owner Laura Duke's previous restaurant experience. After undergoing some changes, you'll be able to stop in soon to see what the new place is all about, and be sure to check out our article on upmatters.com for more details. Reporting in the studio, Tor Thorne, Local 3 News.
In our Health Watch report, Local 3's Connie Fellman shows us moves to help people with incontinence.
It's not something we're comfortable talking about, which is why so often people suffer in silence, needlessly. Now one local woman hopes to put an end to that suffering by letting you know there's something you can do about incontinence.
Yeah, I have to say probably one of the reasons I waited too was slightly being embarrassed to talk to my doctor about it.
Sarah Fielder is a healthy young mother of 3.
My youngest is 6, so I waited till he went to kindergarten.
Like many moms, Fielder was so busy taking care of others, she put off addressing a health issue of her own.
Finish taking care of everyone else and their needs, and I'll take care of myself later.
Fielder was struggling with something else many mothers can relate to, but they tend to keep it between themselves.
You know, I think there's almost that joke amongst moms of like, oh, once you have a baby, they ruin your bladder.
Fielder's talking about incontinence, something often thought of as only affecting the elderly population. But Aurora Baycare Medical Center physical therapist Kelly Garrell says it's not uncommon in younger people, especially moms.
I think there are a lot of women out there who just attribute urinary leakage to, well, I had kids and this is just what happens now.
But Garrell says it doesn't have to be that way.
Although incontinence is pretty common, it's not a symptom that women have to continue to live with.
Which is why Fielder chose to share her story.
I need to talk about it, and I think that hopefully this, even if it encourages one mom or woman who you know struggles with these challenges, that they ask for some help, and there's great help available.
That's what Fielder did after deciding she didn't want to go through life like this anymore.
Every time we had to go somewhere, I needed to make, did I use the bathroom before we left? Or, was there going to be a bathroom there? Do I need to stop at the gas station before we arrive?
Fielder works with Garrell on strengthening exercises, not just for her body, but her brain too.
Pelvic floor strength is part of that. We also do look at behavioral modifications and how the bladder and the brain are communicating.
So Fielder can get back to enjoying what her body's worked so hard to achieve.
We have these amazing bodies that can make and carry babies, but they can also be healed.
If you have a similar challenge, but like Fielder, you haven't wanted to talk about it, the professionals at Aurora Baycare are there to help. Give them a call at 920-288-8000 or schedule an appointment at aurorabaycare.com/appointments. And that's your Health Watch. I'm Connie Fellman, Local 3 News.